Professor Krishnan, it's a pleasure to welcome you. Thank you so much for joining us. Carnegie Mellon is a great name, great school. You had the Heinz school there. I think the number one topic for most of your students and us in general is how does one apply the new buzzword, which I call it the old technology in a new bottle, the AI and its application. How do you impart its importance and relevance in the education system through your school?
Oh, well, thank you, Mateen, for this opportunity to speak to you. First of all, I do think artificial intelligence, at least in its present form, bring something new to the table. I think beyond the capacity to learn, which you've had with AIs for some time now, I think the capacity to generate content and to work with multimodal content, audio, video, text, etc., is new. And I think the opportunity to apply this type of technology, as with any other kind of technology, to a business problem or a societal problem, first and foremost begins not with the technology, but rather with having clarity of thought. So systems thinking is really what you want to start with first. So systems thinking is about being creative, about being a critical thinker that can identify what the scope of the problem is that you want to solve, identify who the actors are, what their incentives are, what data is available, not perfect, be the enemy of the good, and really identify what constitutes a solution, oftentimes to a decision problem, and who would care if this decision was done better? Who would benefit if this decision were done better than it's currently being done? And how might we do this responsibly? So I think those are sort of first and foremost the things that we would want students to understand. And of course, an important aspect then is to then take the technology and figure out how to operationalize it, how to actually put it to work to realize the objectives and outcomes intended, and then validate that indeed what it is that was intended has been achieved. So I think understanding that entire pipeline from problem formulation to AI creation to deployment to monitoring, and how to do that entire end-to-end responsibly, and also in ways to determine that value was created for all the appropriate stakeholders that were identified in the first phase. That's essentially what we are trying to impart at Carnegie Mellon.
The methodologies of teaching also have to evolve with time, and being at the cutting edge of technology and education, obviously the school's reputation has to be kept in mind when you keep moving forward. How do you address some of these concerns and then bring into fore how you impart that?
I think as technology evolves, just to give you a concrete example, I mean, today you have ChatGPT or Bard that can help people, for instance, write better essays, or for that matter with Copilot, perhaps get code done more productively. However, we want students to use these devices, much like earlier generations of technology. Before Excel came to the table, we did things by hand perhaps, but now you had Excel. So if I were to use that metaphor of having an AI assistant to help you with writing or with code completion, etc., you need to have independently an understanding of what the elements are that go into good writing, for instance, independent of the AI. So you need to know that writing involves ideation, of being able to create a good rough draft and then edit, be able to make good coherent arguments. We want to make sure that students really understand those foundational elements and then use the AI as a productivity enhancer, as an augmenter, versus just relying on the technology to produce something without really understanding and learning the capacity to know what constitutes a good argument, what constitutes good code. So I think you want this dual capacity to deliver learning outcomes that I think are core and critical to education, but using technology where appropriate as a productivity enhancer.
So Pittsburgh is not just about IT technology. It has many legacy businesses, consumer businesses, and those have to be taken into consideration when you work with students and the industry body. How is Heinz, or how does Heinz distinguish itself from other schools?
I mean, I think the core part of what Heinz does is, Pittsburgh has evolved from what used to be Steel City to be an EDS and Meds town. I mean, EDS as in education and Meds as in healthcare. It also has become a regional energy hub. So I think there are a diverse set of industries, and one of the key elements of the Heinz education is, in addition to learning these systems thinking skills and good technology and analytic skills, we want students to engage in experiential learning. So we've built a very robust partnership with both the city, the county, but equally well with industries in the city and beyond, that gives students the opportunity to learn experientially. So I think Heinz distinguishes itself, I think, in three ways. One, I think the Heinz vision for education to educate men and women capable of intelligent action. Intelligence as in the use of data and data-informed decision-making, and action as in being able to actually bring about change. And we think that can be achieved by being good systems thinkers, good technology and analytics practitioners, but then equally well good experiential, you learn to apply this experientially. So I think that's a core part of what it is we do. The second, I think, is the opportunity to be part of CMU, which is a larger part of what a student gets by coming to Heinz. Is you come to CMU, which means you can take courses on all the strengths that Heinz has in the design school, in computing, in engineering, and business. And equally well experience a great drama school, which is a wonderful part of the university. And then finally, you're coming to Pittsburgh, which is a Renaissance city, which has really reinvented itself. So for all those three reasons, you should come to Carnegie Mellon.
Finally, then, your thoughts on the accomplishments, contributions of IITians, especially in the US context, and your presence and experience at the conference.
First of all, it's been a brilliant conference. I think I should congratulate the organizing committee, the volunteers, and everybody that's put their heart and soul into creating this amazing experience here at PanIIT. The one thing that I cherish has been my years at IIT, and I think it prepared me very well for the years ahead. And I know I speak for every IITian here who feels that way. But the evidence at the end of the day is in terms of the roles that IITians play in leading global companies, leading global universities, playing an important role in society in a variety of ways, both as change makers, as startup entrepreneurs. So I think there's this whole spectrum of activities in society that IITians have been fortunate to contribute to. And I think in many ways have made their mark not just in the United States, but globally. It's become a global brand, and which I think India should be very proud of. And in turn, I think IITians are connecting back to India as India grows into a very important country, a very important economy. And I'm most recently in India at the Global Partnership for AI, where India was chair, and it's really an honor to be able to contribute back to India as much as I contribute to what I do here in the United States.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. Really appreciated your thoughts.
Thank you very much for the opportunity.